Well, hi there once again. Nice to have you with me here in my kitchen. And today we're going to try something that's rather unique. It's a peasant dish, but it's turned into a classic. It's called coq au vin blanc. Now you may have heard of coq au vin, which is normally done with a red wine. Today we're doing coq au vin blanc, which means it's being done with a white wine. Blanc being French for white. And I'm going to get you to the ingredients here in a second. But this is going to be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy. Give me one moment and we'll go over the ingredients. Now, as you can see, the main ingredient is chicken. It's a whole chicken that we've cut into pieces. The name coq actually refers to a cock, which is a male chicken or a rooster. But you can't find those in the grocery stores anymore, so you have to do with what you can. I like to use a large chicken because that means they're a little old and they come out quite tasty. We're also going to incorporate the chicken livers, some shallots, mushrooms that I've cut up. I've got about 3/4 of a pound of mushrooms, and they're cut into quarters or smaller. I want them to be about the same size as my pearl onions. I do have regular onions. I have a little bit of celery and a little bit of carrots that I've diced up, about 1 stalk of each, or 1 stalk of celery, and 1 small to medium carrot. Garlic, whole garlic cloves that I've peeled. I've got some bacon. You can use pancetta. I like to use bacon. I've got about 8 slices of thick cut bacon here. I've got some chicken stock, some white wine, some flour. My spices include thyme and rosemary and some bay leaves, and of course salt and pepper. Last but not least, I have pearl onions that I purchased frozen at my local grocery store. It's a lot better than getting them fresh and having to peel them, although there is a trick to that we'll talk about sometime in another episode. And a little bit of tomato paste just in case. Now what I have here is a large Dutch oven that I'm preheating, and that's going to be the vessel that contains all this goodness. So the first thing we do is, once it's good and hot, we're going to add the bacon. Oh, I love that sizzle. And we're going to render the bacon. Now, rendering the bacon, what that means is we're going to attempt to saute it and get all the fat liquefied. So what we have left is nothing but good chunks of bacon, a little on the crispy side, but not too much. Okay, while we're waiting for that, we'll take a little break. So we've rendered most of the fat out of the bacon, and what we have left right now is a nice little crispy pieces of fried bacon. We're going to pull these out, make sure that they're all pretty well done, and we're going to save these because we will be reinserting them into our dish in just a few minutes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn the heat down. There we go. Get this out of here. All these good little lardons of bacon. This is the first part of our flavor profile. Alrighty then, we've rendered the fat. We've got our crispy bacon, and we have a nice amount of oil in our Dutch oven. And we've seasoned our chicken with just a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to go ahead and reheat the oil, and we'll start searing the chicken off. We'll do it in batches, so give me 1 moment. Be right back. So we've got our chicken seasoned, and we're going to go ahead and, like I said, we're going to do this in batches. We want a nice sear on these. It doesn't matter which ones you do first, but you want to get them browned on all sides. And let's see if I can fit one more in there. Yeah, I can put a wing in there. I love that sound. We'll do these, finish these off, and then we'll continue. Alrighty, we just removed all of our chicken. We did a whole chicken. We did it in 2 batches to give it a nice light browning. And we're going to leave the fat right in the Dutch oven And we'll be adding first the mushrooms. We'll put those in there. We'll give it a nice stir. And we're going to cook these down for about, I'm going to say 5-6 minutes until the moisture leaves them and they start to dry out, and then they turn into golden goodness. Okay, the mushrooms are cooking down. By the way, I cut the mushrooms into quarters or halves depending upon their size. I didn't slice them. I want them to be nice and equal to the size of the pearl onions that we'll be adding later. So now while these are still cooking, I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. And I'm going to add the celery and the carrots. That's in. The onions. They're in. We're going to give this a good stir before we add the scallions. And this will be the base of that beautiful sauce. That is what really makes the coq au vin. Oh. We'll add the seasonings and the spices and the herbs in just a few minutes, but right now we're going to let this cook down. So we'll wait about 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then we'll add the scallions, and then we'll continue on with the recipe. And it's been about 5 minutes, so now we're going to add our shallots. Put those in there. Our garlic that we already peeled, and we're leaving it whole. And finally, as many pearl onions as you feel are necessary. I like a lot of them, so I'm going to put a whole bunch in there. It's one of the trademarks of coq au vin is the pearl onions. We're going to give this a quick stir and let this all mix in with one another. Oh, look at that. And we'll be back in about, I'm going to say 3 minutes or so, so it'll take a little bit of a break. All right, looking good. Remember I showed you we have some tomato paste? Well, we're going to add the tomato paste right now. About 2 teaspoons is really all we need. And we're going to add some flour and let that all mix in. And I'll be back as soon as I have this all done and we're ready to go, okay? Alrighty, we've added the flour and we've added the tomato paste and we have exactly what we need. And here comes the fun part. We're going to add a whole bottle, yes, a whole bottle of a nice dry white wine. I'm using a California Chardonnay. That's what I would recommend. And at the same time, we're going to let that come up to a little bit of a simmer. And we're going to add about 1.5 cups of chicken stock. If we need more, we can always add it. Now we're going to give this a nice stir. Let all of the ingredients incorporate. Try to scrape whatever is on the bottom of the Dutch oven up, because that's where a lot of the flavor is. And at the same time, because we put flour in there, it's going to thicken up some. So I'm going to stir this for about a minute or less. And then we'll add some of our herbs and spices, such as some beautiful fresh thyme. We'll just throw that right in there. 2 sprigs of rosemary. And then the second, we'll add some bay leaves. Our oven is preheated, so we're going to take our Dutch oven. We're going to put a lid on it and set it in the oven at 350 degrees for, I'm going to suggest, an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. And then the dish should be done after we make any corrections to the seasoning, if necessary. I really don't think it'll be necessary. But this is where the good part begins, as it develops on its own. Oy, why do I have this on? It's been so hot in the kitchen. Gee, I wonder why. Be back in about an hour and a half. Okay, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Dutch oven out. Easy for me to say. It weighs a ton. And we'll set it right here. There we go. And now we'll see what we have. Oh my goodness. You talk about something that looks and smells delightful. That's what we're talking about. Here I have a bunch of chicken in here. I'm going to set that aside. Oh, it's fall off the bone good. Oh my goodness. Take all the chicken out. As I said, we're setting it aside. And then we're finally going to do our magic with the sauce. We'll put the chicken back in for just a few minutes. And then we have a beautiful dinner that was originally meant for peasants, and now we're enjoying it because we're living the life of luxury, or something like that. Get all these pieces of chicken out of here. No blender needed for this sauce, but here's what we'll do. We've got the chicken here. We're going to add about a cup, half a cup maybe, of fresh cream, fresh heavy whipping cream, like that. We'll stir this around a little bit. And now comes the end. Whoops, there's a piece of chicken that I didn't even see. We'll take that out of there. Now what we're going to do, we're going to see if we can scrape up anything that may have been left on the bottom of the Dutch oven. And we're going to taste this and then see what needs to be done, if anything. Nope, it's perfect. It's delicate, flavorful. Now we'll thicken it a little bit by putting it back on the stove, no cover, for about 15 minutes. And then we'll add the chicken back in, and it's a done deal, okay? That's what we're going to do right now. We've had it simmering on low for the last 15 or so minutes, because what we're looking for is a nice consistency in the sauce. Like it covers the back of a spoon, such as this. That means that the sauce is the perfect consistency. Now what we'll do is very simply, we'll put the chicken back in, heat it up, and then we're ready to go. Give me 1 second as I pour this in. Ooh, there's some bacon there. Haha, can't let that go to waste. Put this in here. Make sure we get all the bacon out. And there you have it, coq au vin. Coq au vin blanc. Now, if you want to make coq au vin the traditional way, you would do the same thing that I just did, except you use red wine instead of white wine. It's very simple. I've got to taste this one more time. Oh my goodness. This, with some buttered noodles, and you're all done. You're all set to go. I'm going to bring the camera over here so you can see what it looks like in the pot, and then we'll bid you adieu. Give me 1 second. This is coq au vin blanc. You see the nice consistency of the sauce? The chicken is in there now, heating up. It's falling apart on the bone, and as I said, this is great with some buttered noodles. In the meantime, let me see if I can do this. I hope you enjoyed this today. I did, and I can't wait to eat. Until next time, I'm Mike Bodie, Gus the Fire Ant. Enjoy your cooking.